Hello and welcome to the Restricted Area Podcast, where this week we talk WNBA Finals reactions and give you a breakdown of the NBA Atlantic Division. And as always, you can watch this or you can listen to this podcast a day before you can see it on YouTube, as long as you check out Spotify, Apple Podcast, or Amazon. And to get you started, I'm your host, Alex Perez, joined by producer Colton Smith and co host Ben Miller. How we doing, fellas?
Doing pretty good, doing good. Just wrapped up the WNBA season. College basketball is almost back. The NBA is back in less than 10 days now.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Boy, oh boy, is it Christmas time for me. So, ready to talk some shop, talk some WNBA, and then get into the Atlantic Division. I've got an interesting takes on the Knicks. I have to talk about the Nets. I'm just here so I don't get fined for the Nets, but definitely excited to talk about the Knicks and maybe hear what you guys have to say on the Nets because
It's
it's a
something.
team. But yeah, doing good.
Ben, how about you?
Awesome. Yeah, I'm doing good. Still living that unemployed life. Once again, glad to be out of TQL, and yeah, overall, just really excited to get into college basketball season, of course, along with the NBA, and it's definitely going to be a going to be fun talking a lot of basketball. But yeah, really looking forward to it.
Yeah, we record on Mondays, so basketball is 8 days away, fellas. NBA basketball is almost here, and I am very, very excited for it, even though Mr. LeBron James will be out for some time, apparently. So that was a bit of a damper, but it's all good. Spirits are still high. As we talked about, WNBA final just wrapped up, and I'm on a 4 day weekend, so you can't really bring me down. It's been a good little weekend here. But we'll go ahead and get started with the biggest news. The Aces with the 4-0 sweep versus the Phoenix Mercury in the WNBA Finals. Their third title in 4 seasons. Only done once, one other time in WNBA history. So just some overall thoughts on the series. Colton, I'll go to you first.
I told you beforehand, I'm gonna keep it brief, just like this series. We talked about this series as a potential 6 to 7 game series. Asia said that's cute and dropped 29 points a game, 14 rebounds, and 4 assists. I mean, just looking back to August when the Aces flipped the switch, they really just flipped that switch, turned that corner, and never looked back. And it goes back to that conversation we had about maybe the Lynx peaking a little too early and the Aces hitting their stride at the right time. That's exactly what we saw play out in this playoffs. And Asia adds another trophy to that very, very full trophy case she has. You don't have to add a new one after this.
Yeah,
Ben.
yeah. I mean, overall, yeah, what a great series. Especially what Las Vegas went through at the beginning of the year. I believe they started the year 14-14, and yeah, they didn't even look like a championship threat. But they never let them. Excuse me. They never let that bother them, and they just got right back on track. Went on that 16-game winning streak at the end of the year, of course, and they obviously brought that momentum into the playoffs and definitely played out for them. But yeah, overall, this team was really fun to watch in the playoffs and also in the finals. They looked really good offensively. A lot of players can really score, like Asia Wilson, Young, Gray, and a couple others, and that defense was lights out. They definitely made it really hard for the Mercury, and but yeah, overall though, they definitely deserve to be champions, and yeah, just what a great season for them.
Yeah, shout out to the Aces. I wrote about this. I think it's the greatest turnaround in WNBA history. To go 14 and 14 in your first 28 games on the fringe, maybe not even making the playoffs, and then to go from that to 28 and 3 over the next 31 games. Pretty spectacular. 17-game winning streak, the second longest ever. Made its way into the postseason. Only one game, but still a rather impressive streak there.
Mhm.
And then just looking at the finals here, I went into the series talking about like the bench is not going to matter. It's just about the stars who's starting. Boy, was I wrong. Game one, 41-16 bench advantage for Vegas. Dana Evans became the eighth ever player to score 20 plus off the bench. Just a playoff riser she has been. And I don't know if you fellas knew this, but former teammate of Lindsay Duval might have taught her everything she knows. But
Really?
yeah,
Wow,
down
I
in
did not
Louisville.
know that.
So little connection, little NKU connection there.
Nice.
But game 2, Asia career best 20 points in the first half, and then the Jackie Young show took over, 21 points in the third quarter alone. Obviously, an all-time finals record, and they wouldn't look back from there. They had a 15-point lead after 3. Asia and Jackie Young combined for 60 in that game, the second most ever by a duo in WNBA history.
Hmm.
And then game 3 was another one, just like where the bench really showed that they were going to make a difference in the series, whether I believe they would or not. They were down, the Aces were down early, but then they went on a 17-0 run behind 4 3-pointers from Jewel Lloyd, somebody we were worried who was not going to get acclimated to this new system at the beginning of the year. Boy, did she ever in the playoffs. Joel Lloyd, somebody I didn't have in my notes, but 10-0 in the 10-0 finals record. In case you all didn't know, she has never lost a finals game, which is wild.
Crazy.
And then Asia made history, becoming the all-time single-season postseason scoring record holder, and third ever with third and 10 game. The Aces almost gave up a 17-point fourth quarter lead in that game 3, but then Asia Wilson hit a shot over a married couple, double teamed, and I'm just going to go out on a limb and say that's the first time that's also ever been done in WNBA history. So shout out to Asia. That was one of my keys
Probably
going into that
across
game.
sports.
Yeah, that was one of my keys going into that game. Is make sure you double Jackie Young and Asia Wilson. Didn't matter. Game 4, it was a total team effort. 5 players scored in double digits. Asia moved into third all-time in career playoff points. Like I said, 5 players scored in double figures, and they forced 18 turnovers. Defense wins championships, and it certainly put the exclamation point on the series here. The Aces led the whole way and won that game in dominant fashion, like they won the series in dominant fashion. Just an overall domination after the first 2 series that were kind of worrisome there, where you thought maybe the Aces aren't making it out of here like we thought they were. But they fought through like they did all season, and it culminated with a domination in the finals. And then that will do it for our WNBA finals recap. So we will move on to our foul or flop, where we bring you our favorite quote of the week and discuss whether we find it foul and they have a point, or flop and they're selling baloney. Colton, I'll let you go first.
I think it's a pretty easy one here, keeping it on the lighter side. Tyrese Halliburton was asked by world-renowned reporter, Sunday Conversation, Caleb Presley. He was asked what his Achilles heel is, and to which Halliburton replied, "My Achilles heel right now is, well, my Achilles heel."
Yeah. Yeah, that was a fun interview. I definitely watched that. So I guess foul for me. It's a pretty good point.
That's about the only weakness he had in the finals.
Yeah. Yeah, I would definitely say foul too.
Yeah, going foul on that.
Yeah.
And mine, because I haven't been able to bring it up over the last couple of weeks because there's just been so much more exciting things going on in the WNBA, which is crazy to think about because should be noteworthy. But Sandy Brondello was fired, and the coach of the New York Liberty, the GM of the New York Liberty had this to say: a coaching change was very much under consideration last season. We won the championship, but it's not about the end result. Fellas, that's a flop for me. Maybe the biggest flop that we've ever had on the show. If it's not about the end result, what is it about? The friends we made along the way? Because I'm very confused what point he's trying to get at here. Taking you through some of the numbers, the Liberty were 32-8, and then again 32-8 when they won the championship last year. So the last 2 seasons they were 32-8 before going 27-17 this season, with Sabrina Ionescu and Breanna Stewart missing several games. congratulations, Dallas, because I imagine Dallas is going to make the smart move and pick her up. But all-time flop here by the Liberty organization, and all-time flop of a quote here saying the end result is not what the season is all about. Would you all agree?
What are they feeding the ownership in the WNBA?
I don't understand it.
What? I don't. On so many levels, that just doesn't make any sense. Yeah, absolutely a flop right there. Yeah, that's one of the quotes of all time.
Certainly, yeah.
Yeah, I would agree. It's definitely a flop for sure. I mean, like what?
Yeah, they're trying to. I think they're still trying to cook those books and make us think that the WNBA is still not making revenue, so those CBA agreements can go more the owner's way than they want than the player's way. But what do I know? Just thinking out loud.
Yeah.
But that will do it for Foul or Flop, and we will go ahead and move on to our NBA Atlantic Division preview. We will go from worst to best. So I will go ahead and start. I have Philadelphia up first. Last season they were 24-58, last in the Atlantic and 13th in the East. The offseason ads they had, they re-signed Kyle Lowry and Eric Gordon. Terrific.
Big moves. Eric
They
Gordon's
got-
still in the NBA. Holy
They
shit.
got Quentin Grimes. Yeah, Eric Gordon really should have been my shooting star. But anyways, off-season losses. Yabu Sele and Jared McCain now out with a UCL tear in his, I think it was his thumb, for to be determined amount of time. Obviously, he's not off the team, but he's not going to be playing a whole lot this season, and that was a big piece of their game plan going into the season. So that looks rough. Draft pick, I do like how they drafted. They got VJ Edgecombe, and then best part of the team, they still have Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid. That's cool. If they can stay healthy, and if the 76ers aren't really trying to tank, which I think they might at this point, but those players can be top 5 or 10 at their positions, and so they got that going for them. But the worst part is health, kind of like we just talked about. What's the plan if Embiid goes down? It looks like they made the moves to get rid of Paul George. Do they do that? I don't know. I think they do, but who knows? They might, again, be going for that tank. So they might decide not to do that and just go with the old heads. We will see. But starters, if healthy, Maxey, Oubre, Grimes, and PG, and then Embiid, I'm thinking. So a decent team, especially as we've talked about, as we've done these previews in the East, can certainly compete, but one that you're not really afraid of come playoff time if they even make it there.
Yeah, I love the drafting of VJ Edgecombe, especially. I liked him at Baylor. I loved him even more after all the stuff came out about him on the draft. And there's a lot of players that I like here, Paul George not included, but McCain, that's just terrible losing him again. I was really kind of honestly excited to see McCain, Maxey backcourt along with Embiid, hopefully back healthy. Who knows what Paul George could do if he can, have those guys around him. And like Quentin Grimes really came on last year. I think there's still a world in this week East where they end up an 8 seed or something like that. Yeah. But is that really what we're going for right now? Is that the goal? Like, it's insane to have a player of Joel Embiid's caliber. And I guess we don't fully know what caliber he'll be, but I'm confident he'll be back to at least a top 10 player in the NBA. It's just crazy that we're not even like talking about them in this week of an East as a legitimate team that can compete. So that's just poor management, which is really the case for a lot of teams in the Atlantic Division, but also just in the NBA in general, it seems. And yeah, the Sixers just aren't immune to it.
Yeah. I mean, obviously last year it was disappointing. I mean, like you said, Alex, they went 24-58, but I mean, especially with the injuries that they were dealing with Maxey, Embiid, and a couple others. But yeah, it was definitely disappointing to see because I feel like if those guys, if they can get healthy, I feel like they can do something because, I mean, we've seen it in the past where the Sixers, they're a postseason team as long as they stay healthy. I mean, I like Tyrese Maxey. I feel like he's one of the most underrated guards in the NBA, and PG is always fun to watch. And yeah, I'm definitely excited to see what they have in store this year because I feel like if they can just stay healthy and not go through so many injuries like they did last year, I feel like that they can definitely make some noise in the East. Like, am I saying Eastern Conference Finals? I mean, I don't know, but I feel like in a way they can definitely compete for that 8 spot for sure. But it'll be interesting to see. But yeah, I definitely can't wait to see what Philadelphia has in store because I definitely believe if they can stay healthy, they are a playoff team. I believe it.
Yeah, I mean, all you have to do is make it in the top 10 seeds to even have a chance. And in the East, boy, I'm excited to see what that record looks like at 10th, honestly, this season.
Yeah.
Might be a little ugly, but yeah, it's going to be interesting. Paul George now, he can contribute. He can make a team podcast. I think that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I would tune into that. Anything
Mhm.
else PG's doing on or off the court? Not really looking for. Honestly, I think it's time for him to be out of Philadelphia.
Probably honestly out of the league.
Yeah.
Mm, mm.
But moving on, if you all don't have anything, we'll go to the Nets. Colton, I believe you have that wonderful team.
I was wonderfully assigned to this team. They gained in the offseason Cody Buffkin, Hayward Highsmith, MPJ, Michael Porter Jr., and Terrence Mann. If Terrence Mann has no fans, I don't exist anymore. But not sure what he's going to do on this Nets team. They lost Cam Johnson in the MPJ trade, also to Anthony Melton, Reese Breekman, and a bunch of nobodies. They also drafted at 5 first-round picks, drafted Igor Denham, Nolan Traore, I'm butchering these names, Drake Powell, that's an easy one to say, Ben Aruf, that sounded like I was barking. Danny Wolf, I guess that's why I was thinking that. And so there's the 5 picks they made. Their starting lineup is anyone's best guess. If I were to go based on my view of the team, I would say you picked 8 overall. You're not going to be good. Put Igor in at the 1, Cam Thomas at the 2, Michael Porter Jr. at the 3, Jalen Williams or Jalen Wilson or Zaire Williams at the 4, I guess. And then Drew Timme or Nick Claxton at the 5 with like Terrence Mann, Derek Whitehead, Noah Clowney, and Darren Sharp off the bench. I mean, those are all players that play the game of basketball for sure. I'm sorry. I'd hate to be this negative, but like I genuinely can't figure out what this team's plan is. Their best is Cam Thomas. Simple enough. In the 25 games he played with them last year, they had the 13th best offense in the NBA. The rest of them, they had the 29th best offense in the NBA. I seriously don't have any other positives. Maybe Igor can show something. Like maybe some of these young guys can show something, but they're not going to contribute to winning. This is a 25 win max, I would say, and who knows? This could be a Bobcats level bad, honestly, if it goes the wrong way. As for the worst, in no order, I have their drafting, starting lineup, bench, roster construction, coaching. Well, I don't fully blame the coaching. Like, what are they supposed to do with this team? I'll put them on here. Management, ownership, state taxes. Chris Humphries was on this team at one point in life. Toll bridges, crime rate sits about 6, which is higher than New York when you get those numbers down. And the list goes on. I got nothing else.
Ben.
Yeah. I mean, just a couple players to point out that I'm looking forward to watching on the Brooklyn Nets this year. Igor Denham. I mean, obviously he was the 8th overall pick in this year's NBA draft, a 6'9", 6'9" creator. He has great size, great passing, and great offense, which can make him have make him have a unique piece for the Nets. I mean, obviously he was a great player at BYU. I mean, he set the freshman record in assists, which is 180. I mean, a couple skills. He's able to navigate defenses, set up his teammates, and distribute passing lanes. And another driver, or excuse me, another player, I should say, that I'm looking forward to seeing is Michael Porter Jr. I mean, last season he averaged 18.2 points per game on 50% shooting, so including shooting 39% from 3-point range, and he was a big part of the Nuggets championship run when he was in Denver. But was a second, third, and fourth scoring option. But he will now have the ability to expand his game with the Nets, and he is set to be a first or second option. But yeah, it'll definitely be interesting to see what Michael Porter Jr. can do because I mean, during his championship run in Denver, I mean, he was definitely fun to watch whenever he was showing flashes, and I'm just interested to see what he can do to contribute to this Brooklyn squad. But yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to watch for sure. But I mean, I'm not really big on the Nets this year. I mean, but yeah, it'll be interesting to watch for sure.
Yeah, interesting is a very good word to use. It'll be interesting to watch, no doubt. I really hope they bring the vibes of when like D'Angelo Russell and Theo Pinson was on the team, just dancing on the sidelines. Because then, yeah, sure, it'll be fun, and I'll want to watch. They won't get many wins, so I don't know how much dancing they would still be doing, but they'll be having fun, and that's really all that matters. It's about the friends we make along the way in basketball. But yeah, Igor, I've heard good things in the preseason and in summer league and training camp and all that. So I think he will be better than the bust that everybody was readily willing to label him coming into the draft once he was picked. And then I really only have one question about the rest of the team. Michael Porter Jr., do we get more threes or more bad sound bites? What do you all think?
I think there'll be quite a few. I can see some post-game interviews with some sound bites that ended up on the show. I definitely foresee that coming up. But yeah, I mean, on the Michael Porter Jr. take, I really can't decide whether like there's two types of empty stat people. There's Russell Westbrook and there's Jordan Poole.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, he's not going to be Russell Westbrook, but where on that scale does he fit? Like, is he D'Angelo Russell that one year the Nets made the playoffs? Maybe they're not making the playoffs. Don't get my word twisted there. But like D'Lo was great on that team. I don't know. I would probably side closer on the side of Jordan Poole personally. I don't see how he's going to be able to really be outside of Cam Thomas, the second option on offense. I just don't see him handling that very well. Also, you got to think about health. Like, is he really going to fight as hard as he did in Denver to get on the court, play through injury? No, he's not going to do that because by week 6 in the season, they're out, even though they're out of it to start. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm curious. I am really curious to see what MPJ looks like. I could see him end up getting traded to a contending team, which would be cool. I don't know quite who, but I think that would probably be a more favorable option for MPJ. I need to get the hell out of Brooklyn, whatever that city's done to him.
Yeah, I think Michael Porter Jr. will be going for 30 shots a game this season, and it'll be something to watch. Definitely interesting.
Sure.
But we will go on to Toronto, and Ben, I think you have that one.
Yes, sir, I do. Just got to scroll up here real quick. Sorry about that, guys.
No worries.
All right, so here we go. Toronto Raptors, 2024-25. The record last year was 30-52, 11th in the East, and of course missed the playoffs. But injuries were a big problem for this team last season. I mean, Scotty Barnes and Emmanuel Quickley missed an extended amount of time in November and December. Entered the new year with a record of 7-26. And ended last season on a positive note, going 22-21 in their final 43 games. And I was on NBA.com, and this really stood out to me. They jumped from 26th to 2nd in defensive rating post All-Star break. And during the offseason, they re-signed Jakob Poeltl. I don't know if I'm saying that name right.
Jakob Poeltl.
Oh, say that again.
Jakob Poeltl.
Jakob Poeltl. Yeah. And another addition they did was Sandoro. Wow, that's a hard last name. Menluk Sanordo M. I'm just going to leave it at that. He was a free agent. And then they obviously drafted Colin Murray Boyles, 9th overall pick in the NBA draft this year, and Elijah Martin, 39th overall pick. And one of their departures was Chris Bosher, as he is now a free agent, I believe. But I'm sorry?
Boucher, like Busher.
Oh,
like
Chris okay.
Busher, Chris Boucher.
Gotcha. And just to talk about Brendan Ingram for a little bit, was acquired a trade last February, but did not play due to an ankle injury. But positive thing is for Toronto, he is healthy, and he will make the Raptors. He will make his Raptors debut on Thursday or on opening night versus the Atlanta Hawks. I feel like he gives Toronto another proven score with Barnes, RJ Barrett, and Emmanuel Quickley. And just to talk about Colin Murray Boyles, I mean, he was obviously impressive in the summer league. He averaged 12.7 points per game, 6.3 rebounds, 2.3 steals, and 2 assists and also he shot 60% shooting. So overall, I feel like he brings great leadership, plays well on both ends of the floor, plays great defense, has great hustle, and had 4 steals versus the Warriors in the summertime. And also Scotty Barnes. In 39 games, Toronto went 7-32 during his time he missed over the past 2 seasons. But I feel like if he's healthy, he will make a tremendous impact in the lineup. And just think about him and Brendan Ingram. I mean, just thinking about those guys, what they can do offensively. I mean, obviously the injuries were a big factor, like I mentioned, which led to the Raptors finishing in 23rd in scoring last season. They finished 29th in three-pointers made and 23rd in three-point percentage. But Scotty Barnes, he's great. He's a great playmaker. Ingram can create his own shot and space the floor, opening up lanes for Barnes, creating cleaner looks for Barrett quickly and Toronto's young bench. And I feel like if Barnes and Ingram click and create a great offense that complements the defense, I feel like that in a way they can be a playoff team. I don't know, maybe that's a bold take or not, but yeah, we'll definitely see what happens because it'll be interesting to see if these guys can stay healthy, to see what they can bring to the offense because obviously it was not really good last year. And but yeah, it'll definitely be interesting because they can't afford any more injuries. I mean, they definitely need Scotty Barnes and Brendan Ingram and a couple others in that lineup if they want to try to put some points on the board to try to turn that bad season around from last year. But yeah, it'll be that's one of the things I'm looking into for Toronto to see if they can try to avoid that bad luck and just stay healthy, put some points on the board, and we'll see what happens.
You're absolutely not crazy for thinking this is a playoff team. As I've said probably 1,000 times throughout our whenever we're talking about Eastern Conference, like this is the Eastern Conference, man. It is wide open right now. There are only 2 teams. I'm about to talk about one of them here soon that really has a chance of making the Eastern Conference final or making the finals, right? 2 or 3. That could always change as the season goes on, but going in this year, that's what I'm seeing right now. But going back to the Raptors, I think the Hawks are the team that I'm kind of circling as my Cavs of last year, which the Cavs were the team I predicted to, be not the 1 seed, but at least get around 50 wins. I could see the Raptors having some sort of magic, or at least in the sense of being a team that goes from bottom of the pack, not even a play-in, to above the play-in, a 6-5 seed. I see them sliding in that 5-4 game probably pretty well. Or the 6th seed. So I think it's more likely than not. I think you have the talent, Scotty Barnes, Brandon Ingram. We have to figure out how they all play together. We haven't really gotten a really big sample size of all of that. You mentioned a little bit about how that could look, but we still need to see all the puzzle pieces come together. But I think there is a puzzle piece or a direction that this team can go in that leads them down that path. And you get that 4-5 game. You win that, I can see them being a second-round team. That's a really positive outlook and scenario. I'm not saying that's exactly, but I think you could really talk me into it, and I wouldn't be surprised. But there's also just the inconsistencies, the youngness, the lack of offense. They kind of fall into that category with the Magic, where I don't necessarily see them having consistent, at least Brandon Ingram is probably more consistent than anybody other than Paolo on the Magic, but still he's not a knockdown 3-point shooter. I mean, he is a good 3-point shooter, but he's more of a mid-range guy. Maybe he adapts his game, and I think that's what we're going to have to wait and see. How does everybody adapt their game, playing with each other? Can they stay healthy? Good Lord, can Brandon Ingram stay healthy? That would be one thing. So a lot of things have to fall, but I do see your playoff point. I do think this team can be a lot better than some people give them credit for.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm definitely not going to beat a dead horse. You all pretty much hit on every point that I wanted to make. I think the Raptors actually do fall into like a top 5 team in the East. I think this is one of the best starting rosters, at least on paper, in the East. It'll be probably Emmanuel Quickly, RJ Barrett, Scotty Barnes, Brandon Ingram, and then Pirtle.
Yeah.
For Pirtle to be your 5th option, that's a pretty good team. Very solid guy, controlling the middle. So I'm very excited to see what this team does, especially defensively, because most of those people are lockdown defenders. If they could stay healthy, that'd be great. But yeah, I see this team being a 5 seed. Honestly, I mean, not at worst, because it could get worse. Injuries could happen, but they could definitely fight for a 5 seed, and they're not making a. They could make an Eastern Conference Finals, maybe, but not realistically, I don't think. But they could definitely compete in the at least first round of the playoffs and make it past that. So I'm very excited to see what they do, because I think they are sneaky one of the best teams in the East this upcoming season.
Yeah, definitely.
So up next we have the New York Knicks. Golden, take it away.
The New York Knickerbockers. Now, this was a team I was extremely high on last year, bought into the whole deal, and I'm just here to say I'm buying more stock into this team. They lost Precious Achiuwa, Marjan Beauchamp, never can say his first name right, Cameron Payne, PJ Tucker, and DeLon Wright, which I think are all NBA players, if you ask me. I heard some people saying they didn't have a good bench last year, but that's because Tom Thibodeau made you think that way. I think that's the important loss for this season is Tom Thibodeau. Do I think he was a big part in building that program? Absolutely, but he was not going to finish the job there. I think they made an outstanding hire in Mike Brown that I'll get into in a little bit. They added Malcolm Brogdon, Jordan Clarkson, Alex Len, and Garshon Yabusele. English is hard. Well, I guess it's not really an English name, but
Not.
drafted Mohamed Diawara, another fun name to say, 51st overall. The best part of this team is their star power. Their lineup, Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, Josh Hart, OG Anunoby, Cat. And really, you can put Mikal Bridges to Cat and swap them pretty well. Well, you're not having Cat play too, but you have a very versatile lineup is my point. Coming off the bench, you now have Jordan Clarkson, Miles McBride, Malcolm Brogdon, Landry Shamet. They had Garrison Matthews. I didn't even know that. Yabusele. Like, that is a very deep lineup. You have Mike Brown, someone who actually used that bench. You have a good defensive foundation set by Tibbs. Mike Brown is also a better defensive coach than he gets credit for, at least back in the day he was. He maybe didn't adjust to that at the Kings, but also that could have been a personnel thing as well. He could get a chance to show that, yeah, I can do defense as well. But he also, look at that offense in Sacramento and tell me you don't see Cat fitting perfectly into somewhat of a Sabonis role there. The way they use the bigs to get the guards open there, get Fox open and whatnot. I think it's going to be a beautiful fit. Jalen Brunson was pretty much the offense under Tibbs, which wasn't such a bad thing. It got them to the Eastern Conference Finals, but it was why they didn't make it any further. Brunson will still have his 40 pieces, don't get me wrong, and this is not a knock on him at all, but I think under Brown they will find a much more balanced offense, and here's the most important thing. They'll quicken the pace. They were the 28th quickest team in the NBA last season. That will change. They will be much higher than that this year. I'm not saying top 5 or anything, but they will be at least a middle-of-the-pack pace team where they can open up a lot of things for someone like Josh Hart, who used to be a really big fast break scorer, and he still has that, but it went away as a dynamic because of how the Knicks play ball. So I think Brown can absolutely – he doesn't necessarily have to change everything, but he can put his own twist on this team that I think can make a push, especially in this East, as I've said, again, 20 million and one times now. but what's their weakness? I think it's legitimately just that they're cursed. Like, the Knicks are cursed. Like, if this was last year, I would say Tibbs was their weakness, or depth, or more specifically, they're without Brunson minutes. But if you look at what they added, they just put in Jordan Clarkson and Malcolm Brogdon. Those are that's going to fix your non-Brunson minutes right there. Clarkson is going to get you a nice 10 to 15 points off the bench, if not more. Your dog agrees with me, Alex.
Yeah, very much so.
Brogdon is a nice, steady point guard that can take control and run that point. So I really like this team, and I think they could win 65 plus. I'm going to just put it out. I might make a bet on it today. I'm very confident. I think it's at least a 50 to 55 win team. Yeah, I love it. I love the hire of Mike Brown. I was asking for Mike Malone, but Mike Brown's a nice consolation prize. And watch out, East. This team is going to be scary. I think is the East best chance at getting a ring this year.
Yeah,
Ben.
Yeah, I mean, definitely looking forward to see what the Knicks can do this year. I mean, especially under the leadership of Mike Brown, I feel like he shows up on the biggest stages, and I feel like he's definitely going to bring a championship culture to New York. I mean, obviously he has great coaching experiences, and yeah, I'm definitely excited to see that starting lineup too. Like you mentioned, Colton, I feel like that's going to be a really good offense to watch, and yeah, I feel like the Knicks, they're definitely going to be. They're definitely going to be one of the top teams in the East. And I mean, I feel like it's either going to be them or the Cavs. And yeah, I feel like with this offense coming in, I feel like those guys, they're definitely going to win a lot of games this year. And yeah, definitely looking forward to watching it for sure, because we know these guys, they can definitely put some points on the board for sure. And as of right now, I'm riding with the Knicks all the way to the East.
Yeah, two things can be true, right? Tom Thibodeau didn't use his bench enough. Tom Thibodeau's bench was also very bad. They fixed that this offseason. Yabusele brings the defense that they kind of want to bring every night out. Jordan Clarkson brings a spark offensively off the bench, and then Brogdon kind of does both. He's not going to bring the pace that we talked about, but he's definitely a methodical half court great floor general. So I can't wait to see what he does on that team. Uh, does Mike Brown make them a title contender? I believe so. Uh, he's done, obviously, he's been in winning situations, but he's kind of improved his team everywhere he's been. That it wasn't in like horrible situations franchise wise. So he is a defensive coach, and that's kind of what the Knicks are all about. That offense is going to be just fine. They have enough pieces around to score a billion points a game. So they're not really too worried about that end of the floor. Defense is where they really needed to be, and they really needed to hone in on that bench. So they actually have players left by the end of the season, because that helps your chances of competing for a title. Uh, like you said, Colton, I don't really see a weakness with this team anymore. The weakness was the bench, and they fixed it. So this is going to be a really scary team, and I do think it's one. I think that's who represents the East.
Mm-hmm.
And that's coming from a Pacers fan for me when I say all
Mhm.
of that. Like, I'm not supposed to like New York. Unfortunately, I am a Josh Hart fan. If he has no fans, I'm dead. And Jalen Brunson has grown on me as well. All these guys on the team are just guys I am fans of. Before they were Knicks, they became Knicks, so I just have to keep following them. Miles McBride, love that dude at West Virginia. So, yeah, I'm very confident in this team. I think their only weakness is the New York curse. Do they finally break it? Because I think they can compete with any team in the West or the East in a 7-game series.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Yep.
We will move on then to the team that was at the top of the Atlantic last season, which was the Boston Celtics, coming in at 61-21 overall, second in the East. Lost 4-2 in the conference semis to the Knicks. Tatum obviously went down with that Achilles injury. They were probably still going to lose regardless, but definitely a factor in that series. Obviously, offseason adds Anthony Simons, Luka Garza, George Niang. Uh, obviously Simons is the one we're all excited about. The other two are definitely players that will be there in Boston. So good on them for securing contracts. Offseason losses, it'd be easier to talk about who they kept. Uh, Drew Holiday they lost, Porzingis, Luke Cornett, Al Horford, and of course Tatum to injury. Uh, from what we've seen in this offseason, maybe back a little quicker than we expected, but that may be also hype that teams are trying to put out. Draft picks: Hugo Gonzalez, Amari Williams, great basketball player if you ask me. No bias there.
I agree.
Max
No bias
Shulga,
there.
no bias whatsoever. The best part of this team, Jalen Brown and Derek White. I don't think there's really high aspirations for this team. Obviously, as we continue to say, you're going to compete in the East if you have players like that on the roster, but I don't think they're really thinking they're going to go too far, especially without Tatum there for at least a majority of the season, and maybe not any at all if they're not in a great spot to compete for a title. The worst part is the revolving door that is the paint crew. Who starts for them down low? Because I really don't have an answer. It's uh, it's going to be ugly down there, both sides. I don't know where they get points from, and I don't know how they stop anybody down there. So they may give up the most paint points maybe ever. Starters, I see Derek White, Jalen Brown, Simons. Uh, I don't know at this point because they don't really have many NBA ready guys. I feel like on the roster, so I went with Peyton Pritchard and then Amari Williams to round out the starters because who else plays
Hell if I know.
besides the first three? I don't know. It's an ugly roster after those three. So again, they can compete just based off the star power, but might be a rough year in Boston, which I'm sure they're fine with it, and they can build with that more and more with Tatum and Brown. But it's going to be a down year.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it'll definitely be interesting to see what the Celtics do. I mean, obviously, I don't really see them this year making a deep run in the playoffs, especially not in the East, especially with that injury with Jason Tatum with his Achilles. I mean, but it'll be interesting to see what Jalen Brown can do on or see what he can do without Jason Tatum. I mean, obviously he was one of the best scorers last year, averaging 22.2 points per game last season. I mean, 6 straight years he's averaging at least 20 points per game. But I want to talk about Peyton Pritchard for just a second. I mean, potentially going to start for the first time in his NBA career. I mean, I've been keeping up with this dude during his time, or since his time at Oregon, I should say. I mean, couple things he brings to the table. I mean, he's a great sharpshooter, has terrific range. He's an aggressive driver who can get to the rim, finds his way around the rim. I mean, last season he averaged 14.3 points per game. But yeah, I feel like right now he's in position to put on a show. But yeah, it's definitely going to be weird. Definitely going to be odd to see Jalen Brown out there without Jason Tatum. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people can agree to that, and also people can agree that they're one of the best duos in the NBA today, of course. But I feel like without Tatum by his side, it's definitely going to provide some challenges. But yeah, I feel like with the Celtics departing, a lot of playmakers puts a lot of pressure on Jalen Brown. But yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting for sure. But another player that I want to point out, of course, I got to because I'm a Kentucky guy, Amari Williams. I mean, obviously he was. I feel like in a way he was one of the best big men in college basketball last year. I mean, he's a really good playmaker. I mean, he can definitely play offense. He can play defense. He definitely knows how to find his guys. But yeah, I feel like in a way we'll see how he can contribute. But yeah, definitely looking forward to seeing what he can do too. But yeah, it's definitely going to be tough for Boston for sure, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I really don't have too much. You guys pretty much said it all. I'm just very interested to see Jalen Brown. This is the year that we figure out what a Jalen Brown led team looks like. And I'm not going to like hold it against them if they don't do well, because like this just isn't the situation that this team was built for. But I'm curious to see what he looks like as a number one option and maybe some players like Amari Williams or Peyton Pritchard, we see like what they really have. Like this is kind of the same thing we're going to do with the Pacers is we're going to find out what is Andrew Nembhard really made of and whatnot. Like they're both, ironically, they both have Achilles injuries, both missing their players for the entire year after a playoff run. So it is interesting that both teams are really just kind of having the same year. I would say the Pacers are probably a little better built for that, but yeah, and God, I don't know. I might have to go out there and play defense in the paint. Like it's ugly out there.
Yeah, Amari Williams is definitely versatile. He's a good defender and a good passer. I don't know how much he offers beyond that, but the Celtics need somebody, so he's definitely going to get some playing time. Peyton Pritchard, don't get me wrong, is a dog, but he's not somebody you want in your starting lineup if you're trying to compete for a championship. And yeah, it'll be an interesting year in Boston. It's definitely going to be a prove year for Jaylen Brown. Did he earn that Finals MVP? We'll see, because he's going to have to lead this team and keep them in contention if that's what they want to do. They may just want to, by the moves they made, it looks like they just want to tank for this year, but we will see. And that will do it for this Atlantic Division preview. Now we'll move on to our shooting star, where we pick our baller of the week. Colton, you want to go first?
It's A'ja Wilson. I will let you guys pick A'ja Wilson. I'm going to go with Drew Timme because I had no idea that dude was in the NBA, and I came to find out he's a solid role player on the Nets. So shout out Drew Timme for existing.
Yep. Yeah, definitely going to be fun to watch. Definitely going to be fun to watch him this year. I mean, obviously that dude, he was a dog at Gonzaga, always fun to watch, and looking forward to seeing what he can do. But my shooting star of the week, I mean, it's I think it's obvious. It's A'ja Wilson. I mean, obviously winning Finals MVP. I mean, she was great throughout these whole playoffs and especially in the finals. I mean, she was definitely fun to watch. I mean, she put up a lot of numbers, a lot of points, and she really contributed well to the offense. Really contributed well to the offense. Excuse me, but yeah, it's no debate. She's my shooting star of the week. I mean, she did it all for the Aces in the playoffs and especially in the finals. And yeah, big shout out to Wilson for winning another MVP.
Colton, I hate to break this news to you, but I'm pretty sure Timmy was cut today. But he will definitely find another roster. He was a good role player, so I do believe he will find maybe Boston. Who knows? They need somebody down there. Go get him.
Yep.
That's crazy.
But yeah,
he will be the baller of the year.
That's right. Mine as well is A'ja Wilson. Let me run down some of the numbers. Joined Bill Russell as the only WNBA or NBA player to win 3 titles and 3 MVPs in a 4-year span. That's pretty historic company. That's not all. First WNBA or NBA player to win the title, MVP, Finals MVP, and the scoring title all in the same year. The only player ever across those leagues. The most points, rebounds, and stocks in a single postseason. The most points per game on a championship team. Most 30-point game in postseason history. And the most points in a final series in WNBA history as well. And some may say it's the first year they ever did the 7-game series. It went to 4. So we can't have that conversation. A'ja still did it just like any other player in past years would have done it. You cannot besmirch that type of record. She still did it just like everybody else would in the same amount of games. The best season, I think, in WNBA history. We can't have the go debate much longer. It's going to be her. She's 29 years old, folks. She's got many more seasons to go and many more accolades to accomplish, and she's going to, and she will eventually be the GOAT, whether you see she is or not now, fine, but she's at least my shooting star. And that will do it for this edition of the Restricted Area Podcast. Thank you to Colton and Ben for being on the show today. Make sure to follow the Restricted Area YouTube at CX Restricted Area. Follow the CX crew at CX Pod Network on all socials. Follow me on Twitter at The Will Jill, Colton at Colt_45. That's 3 T's, by the way. And Ben, tell the people where they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Ben Miller PXP.
And I just want to thank you all again for listening and watching. And until next week, everybody, be smooth.